my name is Tyler, aka Thrifts and Tangles. I'm sitting in my car right now. We're going to have a little car chat. So I had a call with Meta a few months ago, and I had been really struggling, like, how do I want to show up on Instagram? I'm feeling uninspired about Instagram, and I don't like when people are like, oh, the algorithm, they're not showing my post. Like, I'm not complaining about the algorithm. I just am a new mom. I gave birth, and then I was like, how do I want to show up online? I was like, I don't really have time to take photos. I don't really want to make real content, like reels, like, okay. And I was just like, how do I show up in a way that feels good? And I was like, maybe I just get off Instagram altogether because I just don't know what I want to post. So I was having this personal, internal conflict of like, who am I? I'm a new mom. What is life now? What does this mean for Instagram? And then during that time, I'm having this crisis conflict, like internal reflection. I get an option on Instagram that says like, have a call with Meta to get a strategy, or I don't know what it said, but I was like, okay, let's do that. So Meta called me. My rep was amazing. But I was like, hey, I figured out a way where I want to show up online because I'm not showing up right now. And I want to show up via text post and feed. And the rep was like, no, you shouldn't do that. And I was like, what? I finally had come to a solution for this crisis. I was like, I can post text posts. I feel good about this. Like, I love that idea. And then from my audience, I've seen people just feeling like discouraged. People are very aspirational and like you feel like it's comparison. All these. I was like, I don't want my audience to feel that by watching my content. I want them to maybe think and develop conversations, encourage them to kind of dive deep and like go on little rabbit holes and stuff like that. And I could do that through text posts. But the Meta rep was like, no, don't do that. You'll get better reach if you go on Threads and post on Threads. And Threads is a text-based platform, which makes sense. I was like, okay, I see what you're saying. And then they went on a thing about like broadcast channels are really great for connecting with your audience. And they shared all these tips and tricks, which I was like, okay. So I got off that call. They sent me all these best practice forums on how to show up on Threads and how to show up on broadcast channels. And we even had like a Q&A. Like, it was a really good conversation. I'm not saying it wasn't a good conversation, but then I just was like, oh my gosh, now I'm back to square one because I don't want to show up on Threads. I even created a Threads and I wasn't going to create Threads. I don't know. Threads has this weird thing where it's like not the metaverse, it's like a different version. I was like, I don't want to be part of this. So anyways, I made a Threads. I was like, okay, whatever. Meta's saying if I want to talk to my audience in this way, I should do it. So I made a Threads account, posted a few times, and I wasn't like feeling like I wasn't excited to post thread content. So then after just feeling discouraged, I was like, okay, I'm just going to get off Instagram for a while. So I got off Instagram for a while and I was like, you know what? I still want to connect with my audience on Instagram. So I am going to just post text posts like I had planned. And you know what? I posted text posts. I've been having so many fun conversations in my comments on Instagram because of these text posts. And in the past 10 years of me being on Instagram, my phone might overheat. I really hope it doesn't. Okay, so I had to move my camera because I feel like it's going to overheat, and I'm have it sitting in the dashboard right in the sunlight. And then I have a blemish. I know. My daughter keeps pointing to it. We all see it. So that's out of the way. So I started posting to Instagram. I was like, let me just post these text posts. And that ended up being my most shared, highest reach, best performing piece of content. And Meta told me not to post that kind of thing. So I was like, interesting. So I get the platforms have their best practices. This is what they want you to do. They said post to Threads because that's what's being pushed and that's going to reach a new audience and you're going to just get better reach. But I was like, thank you for that suggestion. But I realized through this whole process that reach is not my goal. My goal is to foster the community I currently have. I want to have conversations with the people who I just like talking to on Instagram. And those are certain members of my community who comment and engage in conversations. And there's always back and forth conversations. I did a post, I'll post it here. And go join me on Instagram to join in this conversation. But I was like, hey sharks, because there's a trend on hey sharks, give me money for this. I did hey sharks, give me money to create a mall that has thrift stores all inside. And people were like, yeah, let's actually have this. And some people were like, I have a mall in my community that's like this. And people are like, wait, where is this mall? It's having such fun conversation and it's bringing the social aspect back to social media, which I feel like is why I always liked social media. It's why I was on MySpace when I was 12 years old, chatting away and doing all this stuff. I just really like having these conversations. All of that, I share all of that to say, yes, social media right now is a weird place. People are really getting really discouraged about showing up on social media or even like consuming content on social media. Like people don't want to create content because they don't want it to come across a certain way. Like people are fatigued. Like there's so much going on. But I'm just like, this is what feels good to me. Text post feels good to me. Like I'm really excited to share this kind of content, and I'm not sharing it consistently. I'm sharing it like when I have something to say. And it's just been a lot of fun, and it's showing me that you don't have to listen to all the best practices and tips on this and that. Like you can literally show up how you want. Like this is your account. Show up and post what you want. Reach doesn't have to be your goal. Virality doesn't have to be your goal. Like even if you reach one person who gets something from your content, like that is amazing. I'm shaking this camera, sorry. Then I also want to say, like, as Black creators, like I was stuck at 5,000 followers on Instagram for the longest, and I was creating consistent, high quality content. And it wasn't until 2020 when George Floyd was murdered that white creators started amplifying Black voices and saying, follow these accounts, follow these accounts. And then some of those white creators weren't even following me, but they were telling other people to follow me. It was just a really weird thing, and I skyrocketed 5,000 followers on that platform. So I feel like as a Black creator, there's additional obstacles that we're faced with to grow our reach and to like grow our accounts. And yes, there's amazing Black creators who are growing their accounts and doing it without horrendous event happening to get them to like be amplified, right? Like that should not be the case, but I've seen in the comment section right now when like I posted like, give yourself permission to post what you want, and that's what this rant is initially about. Look, as Black creators, we might not reach the community at large as our white counterparts, but like we still have a community who cares about what we're posting, who is looking forward to our content. And if you can find a way to show up, even if you don't want to show up for them, like show up for yourself, show up in a way that you feel excited, like put your art out there, share what brings you joy. Maybe nothing brings you joy. Maybe you're like, I'm deleting all my platforms. Like do that too. Do it. This is all just like, do what you want. And I said, don't listen to any advice. You don't have to listen to this either. Just, this is my thoughts. These are my thoughts. I'm really happy that, although it's not a best practice to do text posts in feed on Instagram, I'm doing it. And it's been fun. And I will continue to do it. So yeah, I'm just creating what feels good. Like even the car content, like they're like, oh, like you have to have a nice camera, this and that. You gotta have a mic. Let me know if you like this content, because I don't have like the stats to say if you do or not. But even this, I'm like, I had something to say, I said it, and I filmed it in the car from my phone. Like we have phones in our pockets where we can create really great content. It doesn't have to be like a high quality production at all times. Like it's really about the message that's being shared. That is what matters. And sometimes it's not even the message. Sometimes you just like the personality of the person you're watching and they're saying nothing. Like that's fine too. So okay, I'm starting to rant. So, all right, let me know in the comments below your thoughts. How do you feel about like content these days? Are you enjoying content? What kind of content do you like? Do you have creators you like? Like, let's have a discussion. That's the goal. Have a discussion. Let's be social. Although it's funny, I see a lot of like, I'm sick of social media. I'm quitting social media, but then they post it to YouTube. I'm like, is YouTube not social media? I thought it was. Let me know in the comments that too. So anyways, all right, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.